Love hard. Love your kids all the time, right? Even when we don't like them. Hi, welcome. Okay, let's start today with doing a little bit of breath work. Okay, so I help kids with this all the time. I help parents with this all the time. Like, we need a way to calm down, to be in our bodies, to be in control of our emotions. And the breath work is the easiest, cheapest way to do that. And people completely take it for granted. So let me tell you a couple things about breath work, right? So when you take deep breaths, you get more oxygen to your brain. So you actually do think better, right? This is why it's really helpful to take deep breaths before taking tests or when you get stuck. Like if you get to a problem, you don't know the answer. I always told my boys, if you get stuck, just pause and take some deep breaths and get more oxygen to your brain so that you can think better. The breath work does help settle the body. We're going to do the relaxing breath, which means that the exhale is longer than the inhale. That is the calming breath. So when I teach it, it's inhale to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 6, right? And the inhale, if you can do it through your nose, is best. So if your nose is not working, get it working, right? Mouth breathers are edgier people and edgier kids. So you do want your nose working, okay? And I say that, and it's like allergy season in Nashville right now, right? Or we're at the very beginning of allergy season. But really try to have your nose working all the time so that when you do your breath work, you can breathe in through your nose to the count of 4 and out through your mouth or your nose to the count of 6. Okay, so we're going to do it right now, right? I want you to use your fingers. I want you to, 1, 2, 3, 4 on your fingers and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on your fingers. It also is the distraction, right? The counting helps you to quiet the mind, stop focusing on whatever it is that is upsetting or stressful, that you're back in your body, that you're more grounded. And for purposes of today, I want you to be able to be here with me. I want you to be able to listen and potentially receive something that you need, something that's going to be helpful to you and your family, something that you could go, okay, I hadn't thought of that, or let me try that, right? I hope to start every show with the breath work. And the purpose of that is that all the other noise around you goes away so that you can be present and here to receive the information that could be helpful in your life as a parent, right? Okay, so you ready? So deep breath in through the nose and out. In and out. In and out. Okay. So if you need to do more, I encourage you to keep going, right? I want you to be calm and present, able to listen, hear what you need to hear. So my favorite poem is called The Good Enough Mother. Winnicott is the author, and it says, the good enough mother loves their child, but not all of their behaviors, is not always available when the child wants them, loses it sometimes, is human and makes mistakes, learns from those mistakes. I love this. I was so happy to find it. I do think it was divine. I think God led me to this poem because it was so helpful and it's so on target for the parent work that we need to do, right? We cannot be all the things all the time. We need to be good enough, perfection is not the goal. It's not. It's not good for kids to think of us that way. It's not good for them to think of themselves that way, right? We are all flawed. We are human and flawed, right? And so we need to be good enough, right? Now, I'm going to add, you just need to love them hard. You need to love them. If you lead everything with love all the time, it's going to be better, even when we have to give consequences, right? That we lead with love, big love, love hard, love your kids all the time, right? Even when we don't like them, even when they are driving us crazy, even when we want to pull our hair out, right? We still love them all the time. So be good enough. I could stop there, right? Just kidding. I'll keep going. Okay. So, imperfect is human. Give yourself a break. We're going to talk more about what that looks like in a second. If you expect perfection of yourself, you would expect perfection from your kids, or it's implied, and kids receive it. There is not many parents that say to their kids, I expect you to be perfect. Not many. Yet I have worked with a lot of children who have issues with perfectionism, right? I have worked with adults that have issues with perfectionism. It is a hard life, right? And it's not something that you go around saying to people, I have to be perfect. You might think it, or you might say it. But typically, it's just this need that we need to be perfect. We don't want our kids to have to do that, right? Perfection is not the goal. We are flawed. So give yourself a break, okay? Perfection isn't the goal. It's not the goal for our kids. What happens with kids that strive for perfection is anxiety, right? They're working too hard to do it right, to not get in trouble, to be good, and they're anxious messes, right? And they come to me and therapy, and I'm like, oh, poor little guy. Like, you are worried all the time about messing up, about not being perfect. And that's too much pressure on kids. Okay, so perfection isn't the goal. We actually really want kids to make lots of mistakes. Mistakes is when learning happens the fastest, right? If you want your child to learn something quick, they have to make the mistake and then they learn it for themselves, right? Saving our kids from making mistakes by telling them not to do it just takes longer for them to learn a lesson, right? If they went in and made the mistake, they'd learn the lesson faster. That's how you did it. You learn the lesson faster by making the mistake. And they say it all the time at school. Teachers want kids to ask questions, right? That we learn from the mistakes that we make. This is how we learn to do math and spelling and writing and English and science and all the things, is by making the mistakes. So encourage kids to mess up, right? And to have the consequence sometimes for messing up, right? And if we lead with love and everything, it's okay, right? We are supposed to give consequences. This is how they learn, is from the mistakes and the consequences. Okay, so when we role model making mistakes and owning our mistakes, we are teaching them how to do that, right? We are giving them the opportunity to go, oh yeah, I messed that up, didn't I? I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry I did that. And then they get to do it different. Or, ooh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to go clean that up right now, right? But it starts with us as parents being humble enough to say things like, I was really angry and I shouldn't have said that. Or, I was upset and the consequence that I gave was not appropriate. Let's fix that. Right? Then kids are more willing to own their mistakes too. And watch parents fall apart. Like, we are the biggest softies too. If our kids come to us and they're like, oh, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I really messed that up. Right? That's completely different than the kids lying or um, it wasn't me, or being mad at you, right? I have a lot of kids that I've known through the years that blame the parents because they got bad grades on their spelling test because the parents didn't study with them. And I just laugh because I'm like, oh, look how cute they are. Like they're trying to blame you because they got a bad grade on that spelling test. Right? And parents actually have taken it on and they're like, what? I tried to study. You didn't want to study. And then there's this whole argument. And I'm just chuckling because I'm like, you got to give credit to the kid on that one. That was a score for them because they handed it off and the parents took it. Right? But when kids say things like that, that's when we're just like, oh, you're so cute. Yeah. I hope that next time you do better. You got this. You are definitely smart enough. Let me know if you need help next time, right? A completely different approach, but there's no anger and upset. And then that child feels the responsibility for themselves and their behavior, right? They didn't study for their spelling test. That's on them. And you didn't take it on and defending, and then they feel real justified in blaming you for it. In this approach, they actually learn, right? I did not study and I should do that. I should study next time. And you can be available for them. Okay. So we want them to see us, own our mistakes, apologize to them even. It's very humbling. And kids are so good at forgiveness. It's shocking from the things that I've heard, the experiences that the kids that I've worked with have been through. The forgiveness from kids is so sweet and genuine. And it comes so easily, especially for parents, right? And for you to go to them and just say, yeah, I messed that one up. I probably shouldn't have done that. That was a little much. Mom went too far. I need to take that back. They are going to be like, okay, absolutely. Forgiveness immediately. It comes so easy for kids. And it's that in and of itself is like role modeling for us how to do it. So the hierarchy, a healthy relationship hierarchy in your home looks like this. So if you made a triangle, right? If you watch the video, you're just making a triangle with my fingers. At the top of the triangle is your relationship with God, right? The next most important relationship is your relationship with yourself. The next relationship is your relationship with your partner. And the last relationship is the relationship with your kids. And a lot of people say that the kids come first, but at what cost? Remember, you have to be the best version of yourself to be the best parent, the best wife, the best sister, the best employee, the best boss, the best all the things. You have to have taken care of yourself. So when we are in sync with God, in faith, with ourselves, and that we're taking care of our bodies, right? You're not completely stressed out all the time. You're not worrying all the time, right? Taking care of you, taking care and nurturing your relationship with your partner, right? This is an important relationship. You guys being on the same page is so helpful because when anything comes up with the kids, it is not nearly as bad, right? It's much easier to navigate the children when you and your partner are in sync, you are healthy, and you feel supported and not alone. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you are listening to Parent Talk with Kary Valdes on Nashville Catholic Radio. So taking care of yourself is actually kind of crucial, right? You role model how to nurture and care for yourself with the kids, right? I encourage parents to say things like that at home, like to put the words to caring for you. I had a bad day. It was really hard at work. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. I didn't get the deadline that I created for myself met. Then I was stuck in traffic and it was so stressful and it's just a lot. I'm going to go for a run because I need to relax, or I am going to I'm going to go sit down and just take some deep breaths. Or I'm just going to go take a hot bath. Or I just need a minute. I'm just going to go sit and listen to some music for a minute. Or I'm going to go watch my favorite sitcom. I'm just going to watch it. I need like 30 minutes. I need 10 minutes. I need whatever. Invite them. Do you want to come for a run with me? Mom has had a really stressful day. A run's going to help me just feel so much better. Right? So using the words, using feeling words, not even necessarily talking to them. Even if you're talking to your partner in the house, the kids are always listening. Right? So say it to them and say, I need to go just chillax. I need to just sit. I need to breathe. Right? And if you invite the kids with you, do you want to come take some deep breaths with me? They might be like, okay, I'll come. That'll be fun. Right? The cutest is if you have a 3 or 4-year-old who says to you, I've had a hard day. I need a hot bath. Right? You are going to be like, absolutely, let's go get your hot bath started, right? You are going to bring these little ones to get their hot bath, but you also need to be super proud of you because you are doing it. You are role modeling for them how to care for themselves, right? Role modeling through breath work and running and listening to music and all the things that work for you, how they can stay in their body, how they can be in charge of their emotions instead of their emotions being in charge of them. I work a lot with kids with helping them figure out their own emotions and how to stay in charge, right? Lots of anxious kids. And their anxiety is bigger than them. So the first place we start is actually with breath work. Right? Teaching them how to actually settle their heart, get their stop panting, that kids do when they start getting upset, right? The breath work helps settle all that down. Okay. So as you'll see when we meet on Parent Talk with Kary, you might hear me say the same things more than once, right? There is intention in that. There's also just the inevitability of me saying it more than one time because it's helpful. It's also because it's so necessary. It's foundational, right? Some of these things are just stuff that we need to know all the time, like leading with love. Love big. Be kind. Have fun with your kids, right? We do. The relationship is so important with your children. Even when they're little, it's about the relationship. And if we have good relationship with our kids as they get into adolescence, and it's a little bit scarier, right? Because they have cars now. Now there's alcohol, there's drugs, there's all kinds of other things that are life and death in adolescence, that it can't be us against them. Right? That's too risky. It's too scary. We don't want them to do things or not do things just so they don't get in trouble. We want them to do things or not do things because of our relationship, because they don't want to disappoint us, because they have too much respect for us, right? It's a completely different way than what can I get away with without getting caught. Those kids are not as safe, right? Because they are willing to do risky things just to not get caught. All they want is to not get caught or get in trouble. That is an us versus them kind of dynamic, which is not the healthiest, right? So that's why we nurture the relationship with our kids when they're little. Like we start little and we keep having this relationship, and you can have relationship with your kids and still have consequences, right? And still be the adult all the time. Like you always want to be the parent. We are not peers with our kids. Can we have a good time with them? Absolutely. Right? Do we do fun things together? Of course. But at no point do you want to be their best friend or their peer, right? Don't lessen your relationship as their mom or their dad to that of a peer. Peers come and go. People leave all the time. Friends fight. They do, all that. You aren't going anywhere. None of their peers would die for them. You would die for these kids, right? You would do anything for them. So don't lessen your relationship with your kids to that of their friend or their best friend. Your relationship as their parent is so important through their whole life. At the end of the day, I want my mom to be my mom first. I need her to be that person in my life. I am a grown woman. And when I need my mama, I still call her and I'm like, Mama, this is what happened. And she is supposed to be there as my mom, not as a peer. She's supposed to have my back in a different way than friends do. So you always want to be your friend's parent, but in good relationship with them. Right? So let's talk a little bit about consistency. So consistency, I feel like I talk about it all the time and all the other presentations I've done. I'm like, God, I get bored with myself having to talk about consistency and role modeling. Bleh. I don't like role modeling much either because it's so much pressure, right? So, okay, I'll talk about role modeling first. Role modeling is basically we teach them how to be in relationships in general. All of them. So it is not what you say, it's what you do. Remember, 90% of communication is nonverbal, right? So don't think that telling them how to be and the values and morals that you have out of one side of your mouth and then talk bad about others and say ugly things about people and talk behind people's back and you think that your kids are going to learn what you say. They're not. They're going to learn what you do. Right? And that is how they will exist in relationships with others. They also learn how to be a parent from you, right? You are teaching them how to be parents when they are older. You're also teaching them how to be in relationship with your partner, right? How do you guys communicate? How do y'all get along? What do y'all do to solve problems? This is how they are going to be in relationships with partners, right? How are you with friends? All of this is role modeling, right? So much pressure, like all the time we're on. It's exhausting, right? Thank goodness we don't have to be perfect and we need to be good enough, right? The Good Enough Mother by Winnicott is the best. Okay, so now to consistency, right? Consistency equals safety with kids, right? Being consistent, do what you say you're going to do. It's also integrity. Right? So do what you say, the good and the bad. If there's a consequence coming, they get the consequence. If there's some kind of like treat and ice cream that's coming for doing well on their spelling test, then yeah, they get the ice cream or the treat that's coming. Be consistent. Do what you say you're going to do, right? Consistency makes everyone feel safe. It makes life predictable, and that makes us all feel safe and calm. Right? Remember, without consistency, so inconsistency causes anxiety, right? The less predictable the world is, the more anxious people and children are. The more consistent you are, the better, right? This is why you do things to keep yourself safe, like parking at the same place at the grocery store, sitting at the same place at church, right? We do it so that when we come out of the grocery store, we don't have to really focus and think, oh, where did I park my car today? Right? You know the general area you're going to be. You know what direction to walk into. It might not be the same exact parking spot. I mean, obviously, but you know the general area, right? It makes your life predictable. You feel safer. You don't have to work so hard at remembering. The same is true with a place to sit at church, right? If we sit in the same place, we know when we walk in, where we're going, what direction we're going to be in. We don't have to worry about, okay, where are we going to sit today? Right? So making your life, you do it already without actually probably realizing how much you make your life predictable so that it's safer and less stress is involved. Right? So the more consistent we are, the safer kids feel. And think about it and it starts really little. It starts in infancy. It starts with like their little bath, the order of the night, putting them to bed. I think I'm going to do a show on bedtime and morning. Like, you know, I call all that the witching hour. So that might be the next one, but I don't know where we are with the topics. And then the other thing is just kind of choosing your battles, right? Choose your battles with kids. Do I want to go to the mat over this? What is important? Are grades the most important? Is faith the most important? Like, what am I going to choose to fight over? Remember, perfection isn't the goal, so they are flawed, right? So we're going to talk more about consistency and choosing your battles as we keep going. For now, if you guys have any ideas or questions that you want me to talk about on the show, feel free to email me at Kary Valdes, lcsw@gmail.com. You can email me your questions and just kind of put in there like for the radio show or for Nashville Catholic Radio or for Parent Talk with Kary. And then I might get to those questions, right, on the show that hopefully I can help you guys out. So until next time, love big, be kind, and have fun with your kids.